faster, as more of the engine's power could then be applied to propulsion. And it also made these aircraft less susceptible to ground fire, as it reduced by 1 the points on the big machine where a hit will cause a devastating malfunction. This trait, along with other redundant systems, a self-sealing fuel tank, and an airframe built partially from composites including Kevlar, makes the Black Shark an exceptionally hardy combat weapon. But as strong as the Ka-50 is, it is equally deadly. The 2 helos streaking toward their target in Russia's North Caucasus had a full loadout of air-to-ground munitions. Each carried 450 30mm rounds for their underbelly cannon, 40 80mm unguided finned rockets loaded into 2 outboard pods, and a dozen AT-16 guided air-to-ground missiles hanging off 2 outboard pylons. These 2 Ka-50s were Nochny, night models, and they were comfortable in the black. As they closed on their objective, only the pilot's night vision equipment, their Abris moving map display, and their FLIR, forward-looking infrared radar, kept the helos from slamming into each other, the sheer rock walls on either side of the valley, or the undulating landscape below. The lead pilot checked his time to target, then spoke into his headset's microphone. 7 minuty. 7 minutes. Poľňov. Got it, came the reply from the Black Shark behind him. In the village that would burn in 7 minutes, the roosters slept. There, in a barn at the center of the cluster of buildings on the rocky hillside, Israpil Nabayov lay on a wool blanket above a bed of straw, and he tried to sleep. He tucked his head into his coat, crossed his arms tightly, and wrapped them around the gear strapped to his chest. His thick beard insulated his cheeks, but the tip of his nose stung. His gloves kept his fingers warm, but a cold draft through the barn blew up his sleeves to his elbows. Nabayov was from the city, from Makhachkala on the shore of the Caspian Sea. He'd slept in his share of barns and caves and tents and mud trenches under the open sky, but he had been raised in a concrete apartment block with electricity and water. And television, and he missed those comforts right now. Still, he kept his complaints to himself. He knew this excursion was necessary. It was part of his job to make the rounds and visit his forces every few months, like it or not. At least he wasn't suffering alone. Nabayov never went anywhere alone. 5 members of his security detail were bunked with him in the cold barn. Though it was pitch black, he could hear their snores and he could smell their bodies and the gun oil from their Kalashnikovs. The other 5 men who'd accompanied him from Makhachkala would be outside on guard, along with half of the local force, each man awake, his rifle in his lap, a pot of hot tea close by. Israpil kept his own rifle within arm's reach, as it was his last line of defense. He carried the AK-74U, a cut-down barrel variant of the venerable but potent Kalashnikov. As he rolled onto his side to turn away from the draft, he reached out and put a gloved hand on the plastic pistol grip and pulled the weapon closer. He fidgeted for another moment like this, then rolled onto his back. With his boots laced on his feet, his pistol belt around his waist, and his chest harness full of rifle magazines strapped to his upper torso, it was damn hard to get comfortable. And it was not just the discomforts of the barn and his gear that kept him awake. No, it was the gnawing, constant worry of attack. Israpil knew well that he was a prime target of the Russians,